Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family and Harry and Meghan. And today I want to discuss the ongoing developments surrounding Prince Andrew and the broader implications for the royal family. Recent events have drawn significant attention to Andrew's position, particularly in light of his associations with Jeffrey Epstein. Just yesterday, on October the 23rd, 25, the coat of arms banner belonging to Prince Andrew was removed from St George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. This action is notable because it represents a break from long-standing traditions. The removal of such symbols is typically reserved for individuals who have committed acts deemed treasonous or deeply damaging to the Crown. Prince Andrew had already relinquished his role in the Order of the Garter in 2019 following the Epstein scandal, but this latest step underscores the severity of the situation. In addition to the banner's removal, reports indicate that Prince Andrew is in discussions to vacate Royal Lodge, his long-time residence. According to sources close to the palace, King Charles is pressuring him to relinquish the property to make way for Queen Camilla's staff or other official uses. Royal Lodge, a grand estate on the Windsor grounds, has been Andrew's home for over 2 decades, and its potential loss would further isolate him from the family's inner circle. This comes amid renewed scrutiny from the Epstein files, which continue to surface incriminating details. There's just no end to what is coming out of this. For instance, a 2011 email exchange revealed that Andrew wrote to Epstein saying, "We're in this together," suggesting a closer bond than previously acknowledged. These documents emerging, despite efforts to suppress them, paint a picture of complicity that the palace can no longer ignore. As these developments unfold, it's worth examining the selective nature of the scrutiny within the royal family. Prince Andrew has faced intense public and institutional backlash, with his title stripped and his privileges curtailed. Yet, similar associations involving other prominent figures connected to the royals have not received comparable attention. Take, for example, the long-standing relationship between King Charles and Jimmy Savile. Savile, the late broadcaster, knighted by the Queen in 1990, was later exposed as a prolific sexual predator who abused hundreds of victims over decades. Documents from the 1980s show Charles writing personal letters to Savile, seeking his advice on public relations matters and even thanking him for suggestions related to hospital donations. A 1986 letter from Charles to Savile read, "Nobody will ever know what you have done for this country, Jimmy." Furthermore, reports from a 2022 Netflix documentary highlighted how Savile provided informal counsel to the royal household, with some of his recommendations passed directly to the Queen. Despite these revelations, there has been no formal inquiry or public reckoning for Charles's involvement, raising questions about why Andrew bears the brunt of the consequences while others' ties remain unexamined. This disparity prompts us to consider whether the focus on Andrew serves a larger purpose, perhaps to shield the institution from broader allegations. And it is here that recent online discussions have taken an even more provocative turn, drawing in other family members through Epstein connections. I believe that Prince Andrew's daughters, Eugenie and Beatrice, who will not lose their princess titles, obviously, because they're born with it, they keep them, But I believe that they will be looked into now, and that if there's anything to do with their connections or where they've received money, I really believe that they are going to be under intense scrutiny from now on. But speculation has intensified around Meghan, with claims circulating that she appears as a Jane Doe in the Epstein documents. These unsealed files from the 2015 defamation case against Ghislaine Maxwell include references to anonymous individuals who visited Epstein's private island, Little St. James, often cited as the site of alleged abuses. One such entry, identified as Jane Doe 170 or similar placeholders in various reports, has been linked by many to Meghan based on timelines and circumstantial details from her pre-royal social circles in Los Angeles and New York, where Epstein's network thrived. For instance, a 2024 YouTube analysis suggests that Epstein or Maxwell may have facilitated Meghan regarding her introduction to Prince Harry, citing flight logs and witness statements that align with her travel patterns around 2016. While these claims remain unverified and denied by palace sources, they do crop up in social media conversations. One recent post from October the 8th, 25, stated, "Meghan Markle named Jane Doe on Epstein list, now circulating online everywhere. Did Epstein introduce her to Harry?" Another from April 25 questioned, "Meghan Markle was the Jane Doe witness during the Epstein trials in Florida. It is unclear how Meghan met Harry. There are many rumours about how she actually met him. I've done videos in the past on this, but for now, these theories, although they're speculative, they add fuel to the narrative that the Epstein web extends further into the royal orbit than the Andrew case alone suggests. To illustrate the public reaction more broadly, let's consider a few voices from recent discussions on social media. Some are suggesting that even though the Epstein files seem to be concealed and the information is being buried, the documents, incriminating documents, continue to emerge anyway, including the latest about Prince Andrew. Another one pointed out that a bombshell set of new polls has shown that support for the monarchy is at an all-time low, with Andrew's scandal dragging everyone down. Why isn't Charles facing the same heat for Savile? A third noted, "Andrew's the scapegoat. The real list goes deeper. Epstein's island guests included more royals than we're told. And Jane Does are starting to get names." These sentiments reflect a growing frustration, with many questioning the transparency of investigations into elite networks. The contrast is stark. Andrew's Epstein ties have led to tangible consequences: the banner's removal, the potential eviction from Royal Lodge, and a lifetime of exile from public duties. Meanwhile, Charles's documented friendship with Savile, complete with exchanged letters and advisory roles, has elicited little more than historical footnotes. And now, with talk about Meghan and the Epstein list gaining traction, it becomes harder to view Andrew's treatment in isolation. Is this justice applied evenly, or a calculated effort to contain the damage to one branch of the family tree? The Epstein files, unsealed incrementally since 2024, continue to reveal names from politics, business, and entertainment, yet the royal family's selective exposure raises eyebrows. Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most vocal accusers, has long criticised Andrew's outrageous conduct, but her attorneys have also hinted at broader complicity among high-profile associates. As we reflect on these events, it's important to approach such sensitive topics with care. The Epstein scandal has resurfaced around Meghan Markle, linking her to Epstein's network in ways that have fueled intense debate. While these claims remain unverified and are based largely on anonymous sources and circumstantial evidence, they have gained traction in recent weeks amid the renewed Epstein document releases. In the unsealed court files from Virginia Giuffre's lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell, a redacted Jane Doe reference appears in a deposition describing a young woman who visited Epstein's private island, Little St. James, on multiple occasions between 2002 and 2005. This individual was described as an aspiring actress with ties to high society events in New York and London, reportedly introduced through mutual connections in entertainment circles. Online commentators have pointed to timelines that align with Meghan's early career. At that time, she was building her profile as an actress, appearing in shows like General Hospital and attending exclusive parties in Los Angeles. A 2024 X post stated, "Jane Doe 114? Look at the dates. Meghan was at those exact Hollywood bashes Epstein funded. Coincidence?" Another one said, "Last week, Epstein's island logs redacted, but the actress who flew private with him fits Meghan's pre-suits era to a T. Why no palace denial?" These posts, while speculative, draw on flight manifests partially released in 2023 that mention unnamed entertainment industry associates on Epstein's jet, the Lolita Express, during periods when Meghan was known to travel for auditions and networking. It is crucial to approach such allegations with caution. No concrete evidence has linked Meghan directly to Epstein nor his island, and her representatives have dismissed the rumours. The persistence of these narratives highlights a growing public distrust in the royal family's transparency, especially with Andrew's more overt involvement. So why has this Jane Doe reference not prompted further clarification from Buckingham Palace, particularly given Meghan's status as a former working royal? The contrast is striking. Andrew's emails are public fodder, leading to tangible repercussions, while whispers about others evaporate without scrutiny. This selective outrage extends beyond the Epstein saga. Consider the royal family's historical entanglements with controversial figures, from colonial ties to modern-day oversights. Andrew's punishment, i.e. his banner removed, which is total treason. It's like having a wrinkled flag on your coffin. His home potentially seized. Feels like a public execution of one branch to preserve the tree. Yet, as one social media observer noted, Andrew's the fall guy, Charles and Savile, well, that's ancient history apparently. But Jane Doe on the island? That's the thread that could unravel it all if they let it. This comment from a thread garnering over 50,000 views last month captures the frustration. Why single out the low-hanging fruit? Let's pause here to reflect on the human cost. Victims of Epstein and Savile deserve justice, not palace politics. Andrew's isolation may bring some closure, but if it distracts from systemic failures, it achieves little. The royal institution, built on centuries of image management, now grapples with an era of instant accountability. Social media amplifies every discrepancy, every unanswered question. As these Epstein files continue to trickle out, despite reported efforts by various administrations to classify them, we must ask who else might be named, and will the consequences be equitable? So, In closing, the removal of Andrew's banner is more than a symbolic gesture, in my opinion. It's a signal of fracture within the House of Windsor. But signals can be misleading. Is this true reckoning or merely a diversion? The Epstein connections, from Andrew's emails to the Jane Doe speculations, remind us that transparency is the only antidote to suspicion. I encourage you to review the documents yourselves, available through public court records, and form your own views. What do you make of these developments? Have you noticed patterns in how the palace handles scandal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I do read them all, and although I might not reply to all of them, and I appreciate the dialogue. So, thank you for watching, and like if you liked it, ding the bell for alerts for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.